I don't even know why the words escaped my mouth, but they did, before I had a chance to stop them. I was just venting to my sister, casually saying that if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't date my husband. At the time, it felt inconsequential, just one of those careless things you say when frustration bubbles over. But the moment I saw his face, I realized just how badly I had messed up. He'd been standing there, just out of sight, and had heard every single word. He didn't yell. He didn't demand an explanation. He didn't even look angry. He just stared at me for a long moment, expression blank, then turned and walked away. The sound of the front door closing hit harder than I expected. That instant, I knew I had said something irreversible. At first, I tried to convince myself it wasn't a big deal. Couples fight. People say stupid things. They brush it off, right? But as the hours crawled by and he didn't return, my casual dismissal twisted into unease. I texted him once, then twice, "Are you okay?" No reply. The uneasiness turned into a gnawing fear. What if this wasn't just about a single comment? What if I'd struck a nerve I didn't even realize existed? What if I had planted a seed of doubt in his mind, one that could unravel everything we'd built together? What if this time he didn't come back at all? I tried to brush it off, telling myself he was being dramatic. I even laughed with my sister, joking that he'd come back once he cooled down. But as the night stretched on and the house remained eerily quiet, panic began to seep in. I kept imagining him walking through the door any second, yet my stomach knotted tighter with every passing minute. I texted again, casual, harmless. "Are you okay?" But hours slipped by in silence, and frustration flared. How dare he ignore me over something so small? By the time I finally went to bed, I was restless. My mind bounced between guilt, fear, and anger. I hated feeling powerless, like the control I thought I had over our relationship was slipping through my fingers. Morning came, and his side of the bed was untouched. The uneasy feeling from the night before hit me like a wave. His toothbrush still in the bathroom, shoes by the door. He had vanished. I texted again, this time more direct. "Can we talk?" Still nothing. The silence became unbearable. I wondered if this was his way of punishing me, making me feel guilty. I told myself I wasn't at fault. If he had a problem, he could have stayed and talked it out, but the knot in my chest tightened. I hated the way the silence forced me to question everything. Had I gone too far this time? Was he truly done with me? The thought terrified me, though I wasn't ready to admit it. By the second evening, the house felt suffocating. I was in the kitchen when I finally heard the front door open. Relief rushed through me, only to be replaced by an icy tension. Derek walked in, calm as ever, but something had shifted. There was a resolve in him I hadn't seen before. He didn't yell. He didn't throw accusations. He simply said, "We need to talk." His tone was steady, almost cold, and it caught me off guard. I tried to brush it off with sarcasm, but his composure unnerved me. When he spoke, I realized this wasn't going to be a normal fight. He told me, honestly, painfully, how my words had hurt him, not just that night, but over time in the way I had treated him. Every word felt like a mirror, reflecting my own flaws back at me. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, but deep down I knew he was right. Then he said the words I wasn't ready for. "Maybe I shouldn't be here anymore." My heart sank as I watched him pick up his bag and leave. Again, but this time with a calmness that felt permanent. I stood frozen, stunned, as the weight of my actions finally hit me. The days that followed were a blur. Our home, once warm with his presence, felt hollow and suffocatingly quiet. I waited for a message, a call, anything. But Derek remained silent. I tried work, friends, distractions, but nothing filled the void. Weeks later, I saw him again. He wasn't the same. Healthier, more confident, lighter somehow. And he wasn't alone. Sitting across from him in a coffee shop was a woman who radiated ease and laughter. The way he smiled at her, the way he leaned in, it was a side of him I hadn't seen in years. For a moment, I wanted to run to him, to remind him I was still his wife. But I couldn't. All I could do was watch the man I'd taken for granted move on without me. The full weight of my actions hit me then. This wasn't just one careless comment. It was years of taking him for granted, of treating him like he was enough, of failing to see what I had. And now he had chosen himself, stepping away from trying to fix something that had been broken far too long. As painful as it was, I knew he was right. For the first time, I wasn't just alone. I was facing the consequences of my own mistakes. And if I wanted to heal, I had to accept the truth. The problem wasn't Derek. It was me.